Hello everybody, welcome back to another Saturday Anything Goes. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Boy, we have suddenly had the heat catch up with us, and I tell you one thing, I'm thankful for air conditioning and being inside because it is hot, hot, hot. And I guess it's supposed to be that way pretty much until fall. So, yes, I love summer, but the older I get, the less I like the heat. Anyway, sorry for rambling on. What are we going to do tonight? Well, I thought we would cool things down. If you were, if you watched my live last Sunday or Saturday, I said that I had placed an order and would have some new goodies to play with. And what I ordered was the Snowflake Splendor Suite. And it is so beautiful. I love icy colors, especially for winter. And so this suite just really fits the bill for that. So let me, hang on a second, turn that off. Let me tell you what all came in the suite. So first of all, we have a photopolymer stamp set, Snowflake Wishes, lots of beautiful sentiments, and I love the font for those. We also have the coordinating dies, and there is a die in here, y'all, that just really sold me on this set. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? These actually come out here. And this will cut out the front of your card. Perfect for making shaker cards. It's just really pretty. And I actually made a card with this, which I will show you guys in just a few minutes. But it also has tons and tons of snowflakes. So yeah, we like that. So we're going to be using some of these in our card tonight. So let me just slide these in so I don't forget where they are. And then we have a beautiful embossing folder called Winter Snow. And let's see if I can, I don't really have, here, I'll just show it to you on the card that I made. So if you look at the background here, I embossed it, and then I went over it with some of our craft white ink to bring them out. This is also showing that die that I just showed y'all. Isn't that beautiful? Love, love, love that. Okay, so we've got the embossing folder, and then, oh my gosh, the DSP, y'all, is just beautiful. The colors in it are so icy, beautiful colors. I'll let you know what they all are in a minute, but let me just kind of fan these out so you can see the different patterns that there are. And the backs of these are just as cute as the fronts, y'all. I just really, really love them all. So you get 2 sheets of each design, and I am showing you the fronts and the backs. The last one always wants to stick together. Come on, you. There we go. So as you can see, lots of icy, icy colors. And I've cut up a little bit of one for use on our card tonight, but let me tell you what the colors are. The colors are Balmy Blue, Coastal Cabana, Highland Heather, Misty Moonlight, which is one of our new in colors, Night of Navy, Pacific Point, Pool Party, and Whisper White. But y'all, with all the shading that's done in these, you could pretty much use any blue that you want to. And then we also have new glimmer paper. Isn't this pretty? And let me just pull a little bit out here so you can see it without the light shining on the plastic, because it really is gorgeous. Look at that. So, so pretty. And you get 2 sheets of this. It die cuts just beautifully. We also get with it this lovely ribbon. And I don't know how well you can see it. Let me bring a piece of paper out here, and that way you'll be able to see it better. It's iridescent, so it has the icy greens and the icy blues. It's also a very stiff ribbon, which I love for making tight bows, and I just think that it pairs beautifully with the suite. So those are the goodies that came with our Snowflake Splendor Suite. Let me put these aside, and then we'll see who all's joining us. I'm running out of room here. Keep our ribbon out. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Patricia. Thank you, ladies, for joining. All right, so I've got a little goodie box here. I did some work ahead of time. Oh, this is the other thing I forgot to show you all. There are blue adhesive back gems, and you have two different ones. You have the ones in balmy blue, and then you have the ones in night of navy. So they're very reflective. Pretty, pretty, pretty. All right, so what are we going to do tonight? Well, I've used the dies to do a little bit of pre-work or prep work, but we're going to do some heat embossing. We're also going to do some of an inlay technique that I think is going to be really pretty. And I'm using, remember how I said that with all of the different kind of swirls of color, you could use anything that was blue? Well, I'm actually using some of the Seaside Spray, which was what is one of last year's in colors. And look at how beautifully it's going to work with this. So absolutely beautiful. So I have a different card than I usually use. Usually I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top fold. Well, this is still a top fold, but it's 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So you're going to cut it at 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and then score and fold at 4 1/4. So that's going to be our card base. I have a piece of Whisper White, which is 1/8 of an inch shorter and narrower, boy, I cannot talk today, at the top and the bottom. And you'll notice that I've already cut out some of our snowflakes, and let me show you which ones I cut out. And that's because I wanted to be able to use that inlay technique. So the ones, the ones that I used are this one. I've got to get these transferred over to a magnetic sheet. And then this one. So those are the three that I've used. So this goes to there, that one to there, and that one to there. And all I did was just, I wanted to leave enough room at the bottom for using a bit of the DSP. So I made sure that I crowded them towards the top, but evenly spaced them. And then I took the same 3 dies and I cut out 3 snowflakes out of the new balmy blue glimmer paper. And that's what we're going to use to do our inlays. Okay, give me a second here. Let me put these dies away real quick before I go shooting them across the room. Come on, you. Okay, put those away since we've already done the die cutting. Like I said, I did a little bit ahead of time. But let's talk about working with this. I cut a piece of the DSP that is 5 and, what's that going to be? It's the same width as our card. So instead of being 5 1/2 wide, it's going to be 5 3/8 wide. And then, it's also going to be just under 2 inches here. So I say 1 7/8 tall. And this is going to fit right on here. I'm not going to glue it down just yet because I also wanted to bring in some of the ribbon. and I'm going to lay this over the DSP. So as you can see, my cutout extends right to the top of the DSP. That's one of the reasons I'm not putting the ribbon up above. And the other reason is because I just think it stands out much better against a colored background. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the DSP to my Whisper White panel. Oh, look at how pretty that is. Oh, all these different colors. There you can see some of the Highland Heather. And it's not really directional, so I don't have to really worry so much about it, but I am going to stand this up and make sure that I get it all lined up. And then I'm going to take some of my tear and tape. Let's see, is that going to be the right? Ooh, yeah, just the right width. And to me, this is going to be the easiest way to attach the ribbon. If I can do it without sticking it to the paper. It would probably help if I brought out my silicone sheet, so let me do that. That way I don't have to worry so much about it. And let's make sure that that's stuck down well. And you'll notice that I left a little bit on either end to wrap around to the back. So we'll pull that off and wrap that around. And now I can go ahead and lay my ribbon down. And it should fit right on top like that. Perfect. All right, let me get out my snips. And we'll just continue wrapping this around the back like so. Okay. We may end up putting a bow on there. I'm not quite sure yet. But now I can go ahead and I can glue my focal panel to the card base. You have two choices here. I'm actually going to just glue it straight down. You could, if you wanted, pop it up, but with the way the die cuts are, I just thought it looked better by laying it down rather than them being recessed. And let me show you what I mean. So if I do the inlay here, it like floats on the top of the card. But if I pop the card up, it's actually going to push it to the back. And I just didn't like the way that looked. So I'm just going to use some good old liquid glue here. And because I'm doing an inlay, I really want to make sure that all my edges around where the snowflake is cut out are stuck down. That will help make sure that the inlay doesn't pop up as I get my fingers all sticky. So just stick wherever you can, and I'll put some here as well. I think that's probably good enough now that I have ink all over myself. And like I said, I left 1/8 of an inch border, which will allow our card base to just shine through there at the top, bottom, and side. So a nice border. Now we can work on doing our inlays. And our snowflakes are, I found to be really symmetrical, so I don't have to worry about twisting and turning to get it in the right spot. So I'm just going to pick this up, and I think I'll probably use my tweezers here to grab onto it. And you've got some nice areas where you can put glue. So I don't have to worry about teeny tiny little dots for most of it. just make sure you get a nice bit that will help it lay down. Okay, and then it's just simply a matter of lining it up and pressing it down. And there you can see how it helps that snowflake to just kind of float above. And I really did like the way that looked. You could, if you wanted, put some along the outline of the snowflake, but I actually found it much better to do the snowflake itself. That way you're not accidentally putting glue where you don't want it. All right, so let me just grab this. This one is a little small, but we'll get there. If you wanted to, you could take like a little sponge and squeeze some of the glue out onto your silicone mat and just sponge it over. We also still have our adhesive sheets where you could actually die cut them attached to the adhesive sheet and then peel off the backing that way. I seem to always forget we have adhesive sheets, so. All right, 2 down, 1 more to go. I don't know about y'all, but it's a weird year, yes, but it also seems to just be flying by. I have no clue where May and June went. May and June. All right. Last one. And I like the liquid glue also because it does give you just a moment where you can slide the die cut around to make sure it's sitting in the area where you want it. All right, so we have our die cuts. Okay, now we are going to have a sentiment down here. I toyed with the idea. This has some really cute small groups of snowflakes, and I kind of toyed with the idea of maybe putting a few on there, and I think I like that idea. I wanted to get the big ones set in first, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Seaside spray, but I think I want to stamp off. Oh yes, so that it's super, super light. So stamp off, just barely a hint. And that way the white is just not quite as stark. Do a couple more on here. Just like that. I don't even know if you guys can see it. Can you see that? I mean, they are very, very faint in the background. You know, I see one more place where I want to put one. Okay, I'm back, guys. I hope that, hope you guys can see and hear me okay. I think the thunderstorms in our area are kind of messing with my Wi-Fi. So, let me see if I can get you guys back here. I think the thunderstorms in our... Okay, phew. Hi, Kathy. All right, hopefully everybody comes back. I do apologize for that. You just never know. We're out in the country, so thunderstorms come up and the Wi-Fi can be very, very finicky. All right. Make sure that we're back here. All right. So we got this far, right, with the card. I think the last thing that you all saw me do was to stamp the tiny snowflakes, and I did use the seaside spray, and I did stamp off to make sure that it was very, very light. But now I want to work on the sentiment, and I do want to heat emboss the sentiment, but I also want the sentiment to be in seaside spray. And so here's the way we're going to do this. The main reason I have it set up on the Stamparatus is because I am first going to stamp it in the seaside spray. Then I'm going to try going over it with Versamark and use some clear embossing powder to make it really shiny. So let's see if that's going to work. All right, so I've got my stamp already positioned. I'm going to put this all the way up in the corner. That's going to be really important. And now, first, we'll go ahead and, ooh, that is terrible job, Linda. You got ink all over the place. So first, I'm going to stamp it in the seaside spray, and we'll hope that that's going to be dark enough. I may go over it again. Yeah, I think that's dark enough. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off my stamp. Hi, Danette. Hi, Sandy. Glad you guys made it back. All right, so as with any heat embossing, you want to be sure. I've had my little fingers all over this, so use your embossing buddy just to wipe over it and make sure that there's no oils, no fingerprints on the page. And I'll go ahead and take the Versamark. And the Versamark is great because it's a sticky, sticky, sticky ink. And if I have this lined up right, it should stamp right over the seaside spray. And then I should be able to use my clear embossing powder. That's the plan anyway. We'll see if it works. I'm just giving it some good pressure to make sure that I get the Versamark all over. Okay, and now I'm going to remove this, and I'll put this away for the moment. I have a piece of paper here and my clear embossing powder. Okay, cross your fingers. Okay, just transfer this back into the pot so I don't lose any of it. Tell you what, a little pot of this stuff goes a long way. And if you've not used the clear embossing powder before, give it a try. I mean, for things like this, it's really nice. Okay, I'm going to heat up my heat tool. So we'll give it a minute there. Always a good idea to heat it up before you bring it to the paper. That way you spend less time having to heat it up and your paper doesn't warp as badly. Okay, let's go ahead and give her a whirl. And you'll be able to see that it is turning the ink very shiny. Let me turn this off. Make sure that I got it all. Yep, that looks pretty shiny to me. So I know that we've got like quite a few embossing powders. We have the usual, the black, the white, the clear, silver, gold, copper. But sometimes you really want it to be in the same color that you're using for your project. And that is, in my opinion, the easiest way to do it. Stamp your sentiment in the ink you want, make sure it's dry, And then go over it with your embossing buddy, hit it with the Versamark, and like I said, that's where the Stamparatus is just absolutely important. And then clear embossing powder and the heat tool, and you get a nice shiny sentiment that is now going to stand off of the page a lot better than if we just left it plain. Whew. That embossing powder does get everywhere though. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out using our layering ovals. I thought about using a stitched oval, but the only stitched oval that would fit that sentiment was actually a little too big for the strip here, and I really didn't want it going off the strip. So I discovered that our layering ovals have one that works beautifully for that. So let me just pull them out here. And I believe it's this one. Yep, that one right there fits beautifully. So give me a second while I cut this out. I'll be right back. And then we'll put this on the card. Make sure I've got this lined up right. Because you're Miss Weenie Whining. She doesn't like thunderstorms. Poor baby. So she's in with her papa right now. Okay. So there is our sentiment strip. And I really, really do like the way that it just shines and sparkles. All right, let me put these away. And bring this in. So this is going to fit right there. And like I said, if I had used the stitched oval, it would have gone over the ribbon, and I didn't want that. I am going to bring in, though, our little snowflake stamp, because I do have room to stamp a couple of snowflakes. And I'm going to do this full strength. So we're going to put this right there. And then I think I'll do just a couple of them right down here. Yes, I like that. Okay. Now, I do want to pop this up, but I also think that I want to do a little bit of sponging around the edges. So let me get my sponge out here. Since I'm not going to have a cardstock mat, I did want to do just a little bit of sponging to help separate it from the color that's in back of it. Okay, that's simple. And I'll bring out some dimensionals. Three should be plenty. Come on, Lego my ego. All right, and we're going to put this, pardon me if my head gets in the way, but I really want to try and line that up just like that. Okay, then I'm going to bring in our blue adhesive gems, because our top is already pretty blingy with our glimmer paper. We need to bring just a little bit of that glimmer down into the bottom. And I think I'll use the Balmy Blue ones. There's a spot right there for one that will look good. And let's do one right up there. And then we'll do one more right in the center of our glimmer snowflake. All right. So, one last thing we need to decide. Do we want an actual bow up here? And the only way I can answer that is just to make one. And we'll see how it looks. Like I said, this ribbon has a very stiff texture to it. But it still does really nicely as a bow. I think I'm going to do a triple. I'm feeling adventurous today. Let's see if it'll hold a triple. Oops, get up there, you. I mean, you can probably hear as I'm pulling the ribbon tight how it makes kind of a scrunchy noise. Let me just pull that over. Wow. Okay. Now, let's see what we think. So I can spread it easily. And there's my 3 different loops. Kind of mold it down the way I want it to go. And then let's see if we want the bow or not. You know, I think I really, really like it over there. So I'm going to bring out our glue dots. And 1 glue dot should be plenty. Oops. Well, crikey, Linda. And I'm going to stick it right there. And then just trim up my tails. That one's also got, already got a nice cut on it. And there we go, gang. There is our Snowflake Splendor Suite card. So I've got that one. This is the one that I played with this afternoon, which I like also. And for this, all I did was, this is actually a piece of acetate, a window sheet, and I heat emboss the sentiment on the inside. So there you have it. 2 different cards in the same suite, and I think they're both just so, so precious. All right, let's see who else we've got out here. Hi, Sally. Thanks so much for joining. Oh, the bow maker, my little cheapy thing here, I think I bought this on Amazon. It's got quite a few little pegs that come out, so you can adjust them for whatever size bow you want, and I just use the heck out of it. I really, really do like it. It makes it much easier. Thank you, Danette. Thanks, Sandy. All right, well, that's all I have for tonight, so I will let you guys get back to your Saturday night. I hope that you have a blessed day tomorrow, and remember, wash your hands, check on your neighbors, and stay safe, y'all. Good night.